Hello. So I wanted to come on here and just chat a little bit because I was listening to a message and it just kind of spurred me into back into reality a little bit. So there's been a few things that I've noticed in my surroundings that I've just been keeping note of, but I haven't really put it together in a way that it has like led me to a solid thought. So I didn't really think to mention it. I think I've mentioned it like here and there, but separately, not all together. But anyways, there's a few things I've been noticing in my environment, in the environment of the earth. So for one, I noticed a while ago that the leaves were turning color and falling off the trees quickly, ahead of schedule, I guess. It's August now. I'm in the northern hemisphere and it's summertime. Um, but the leaves are falling off the trees. Some of them. There's some trees where it's already turning like orangey. There's dead leaves on the ground, and it's too soon. Um, there's also a lot of wasps. I don't know if they're wasps or if they're bees, but one of those. It's a lot of them, and they're intense, more so than I ever remember before, and I think it's because they're hungry. I've also been seeing a lot of monarchs, which has been shocking because it's the first time in years that I've seen monarch butterflies, that I've like noticeably been like, whoa, a monarch butterfly, and that I've seen so many. I've seen so many. Over the past few months, I've seen a lot of dead forest creatures, um, squirrels and rabbits. And I'm not really in an area where like a hit and run is common enough for it to be this many times. And sometimes it's not on the road, sometimes it's just in on the sidewalk. And then as of recently, like the past week, I've seen like three dead birds. And then in the past few months, I've seen a little bit over that. So um, I'm just thinking if there's anything else I need to mention. It's very hot. Oh yeah, on June 29th, the planet spun faster than ever before, and since then, I've noticed all of these things. Um, so yes, and this week it's been raining a lot. A few months ago, I spoke about how I felt like the sky was getting more clear, like I could see stars more, and I wondered if, in some ways, Earth was healing. Um, hmm. Yeah. So, anyways, I wanted to list all that off and talk about a little bit about what I think is going on. I mean, obviously, we are alive during the times of climate change, and I mean, I don't even know if we should be calling it that anymore because it feels like we're too numb to it. So we're alive during Earth's death cycle. I am not a fear mongerer, and I'm not a person who is invested in making people be afraid of the future, because I believe that everything goes through stages, and I believe that we're in cycles, and so things happen that have happened before, and you know things all in all will work out. But we are going to be alive during a very important time and a very felt physical experience of the earth and her changes. And there are certain things, I guess, responsibilities that we have, um, that we need to take on as leaders on this planet, because, you know, we've come into a position of power as human beings where we are now shaping the way that all life exists on this planet because of the amount of pots that we have our hands in. We've kind of taken on this like parenting godlike role, And now, since we've decided to embody that energy, we need to be responsible for the many tasks that come along with that. And one of those, or a few of those, include being a mother and being a caregiver to the beings and the species and the environments that we have subjected to this new way of existing, right? We created this environment and we ushered all of these creatures into it. And now we have a duty to help them acclimate and to take care of them and to do what we can to heal the energy, balance the energy, soothe the energy, nurture the energy into a state of more alignment with peace and nourishment and soothing energy. We just need a lot more soothing energy. I've felt the anxiety in the air, and it's been weird. Like seeing the monarchs, I get happy. I get really happy and excited because I'm like, what are the chances you see butterflies? It's kind of scary not thinking about the fact that that's a reality at this point, but you don't see them a lot. Last time I remember butterflies being like a thing in the natural world in cities was when I was a kid, and that's when I was living in like Seattle, so 15 years old and under. That's kind of, but like more so middle school days of that time. So, over 10 years ago is when I remember butterflies being a little bit more normal. Now a butterfly is a luxury to see, but I've been seeing a lot of them, and it gives me a good feeling. This is different though from seeing the wasps or the bees. I've been seeing recently bumblebees, which is also very rare, it's kind of, but this feeling is a little less, I don't know how to feel about it, because when I'm seeing them, it feels like I'm seeing them in a state of anxiety because they're hungry, because there's not enough to eat. I don't think there's enough to eat. Even with the butterflies, when I see them in parks, in nature places, and I've been spending a lot of time in parks, and it makes me feel like if there's one thing that we want to invest in over the next few years, it's the parks. It's the outdoors and building public outdoor spaces that are acclimated in nature's vibe, because I think we're going to be more hot than anything. So, I don't know, but at least where I live, it's hot, it's hotter just overall, it seems like, warmer overall. Even though the seasons are changing faster, it's still hot. Oh, I also noticed that it's getting dark early again. And it's too soon. So we're having less days, shorter days, longer nights. A few months ago, God, when was this? This actually might have been last year. I don't know if this was last year or a few months ago. I'm sorry, time is a thing. I saw 2 or 3 red foxes during the daytime, and that was interesting because that's not really a thing. Ever since then, I've looked out for them, but I haven't seen any, and lots of rabbits. So yeah, that's everything when it comes to things I've noticed about nature, what's going on with our planet. Yeah, I've been discussing a lot about, I guess, ancestry and things like that, and I've been saying that I want to get into root work and earth work, but I guess I need to take that a little bit more seriously, because we all have these responsibilities, things to focus on in terms of making sure that life is okay and we're contributing and whatever. But the work that we're doing for Earth is very important, and the work that we're doing for other creatures, other life on Earth, is really important. And it's I think it's kind of moving to the forefront of my mind. I work in a community center, and what I'm going to be running a program this fall around like horticulture and plant medicine. And it's a community center that services young girls. So I'm going to try and do my part through like the work lens by teaching children and getting children comfortable with gardening and learning how to grow plants indoors and learning a little bit more about working with the earth and plant medicine and things like that and appreciating the earth and things like that. So I'm going to try and do that. In my own personal life, I feel like, God, the compassion, I need to grow in my compassion for understanding what it must feel like for other creatures as they notice that, as they know that things are changing and it's beyond their control, especially when we're not listening and we're not doing anything. And I can't imagine how frustrating it must feel. And you know what? I was on the bus today and I was having an imaginary daydream about my soulmate not being able to make it to the birth of our child. I'm not pregnant. I'm not dating anybody. I just was having a daydream about that, brought on by a YouTuber creator that I really enjoy, who just gave birth, but her husband wasn't able to make it for the birth. It got me in that mindset. So I was thinking about it, and I cried. I cried on the bus. I cried on the bus. That's how deeply I felt that experience. And while I don't think that, I don't know if it's directly connected to what I was experiencing in that daydream, I do feel like there is a connection in that grief, in that sense of loss. And I feel like I'm feeling the environment and I'm feeling the emotions or the depth of emotions and fear and anxiety that the earth is feeling. And I feel like we're all feeling it, I've recently been getting a lot of content around like slow living and cottagecore stuff and things like that. And I understand it because I do think that there is going to be a pullback from the digital age. Obviously, I do not think that we're going backwards. In general, I think that technology is going to continue to progress. But I do think that we're going to pull back for a minute so that we can decide how we want things to go. And I think in that time, there's going to be a lot more immersion into nature, which is why I'm now saving up to buy a home, because I want to settle down and I want to have like a base and I want to begin to have my own plot of land where I can begin to give back. But there also needs to be designated public spaces. The earth took such care of me during this past year, these past 2 years, as I've been going through this awakening and just in the pits of hell. The earth has been there to ground me and to hold me and to give me space. Give me a space to figure out how I feel and work through my emotions and my traumas. And we don't, ever appreciate truly and deeply how much this planet does for us and how much, all of the many lives on this planet contribute to our safety and our just general wellness, being okay. But I think the time is showing up for us to begin to give back. And it feels like a lot of us are just going to become mothers. And I think that this is why I think the bending of gender or not the bending, but the fluidity of gender and gender expression and understanding the spectrum and our identities is also, in terms of nature, it's connected to this understanding that there is mother inside all of us and there's father inside of all of us. It's not just confined to gender. And all of us are needing to, as like a human collective, every human being is responsible for tapping into mother energy right now in terms of soothing and healing and cooing and, holding and loving the earth and the creatures of the earth beyond humans, and not just the ones that you call your pets, but all animals, all insects, all sea life, all creatures, all birds, all everything, and all plant life, and giving healing, calming energy, soothing the anxiety, because there is a lot of anxiety on earth right now. You can feel it and you can see it in the sky. Sometimes I see, like, you know what? And I feel like it's happening because I've also found my senses getting heightened. I can hear really closely, like something that's happening down the street. I can, maybe not down the street, but like, I live in like an apartment building and I'm higher up, and I can hear things that are happening on the street level, like it's right there. And when you look outside, it's like you can see it in the sky and in the atmosphere, the smog and the anxiety mixed in with that. And I feel like Earth is feeling anxious, and we can feel it in her spin. So yeah, it's time to tap into the mother within you. And it's time to figure out what caregiving and what caretaking looks like for you. How do you take care? How do you soothe? Because you need to give that energy to the earth right now, and to other creatures, other life beyond human beings. That energy needs to go into our world. I noticed that, in being a dreamer and in focusing on love and in focusing on what brings me joy and what brings me peace, what brings me pleasure, I've been seeing more monarchs. So I feel like being in an energy of working towards creating a life for myself that is peaceful and that is joyful and that is based in love is what is also bringing me closer to noticing what is happening with the earth, on a level that is very, very much so like I am a part of this whole system, like I'm not an observer, but I am in it, within it, a part of it, and I'm seeing it. There's just been way too many coincidences, I guess, that it's not really a coincidence at this point. It feels like it is a thing that I am meant to talk about. To be honest, I don't have the answer in terms of what is going on. I know that water is significant, and I have some writings that I was doing back in like April and May that I can share, that I wrote about around water, and that was also in connection to sexual energy, which I also think is an energy that the earth would like. And I can share that. But so I'm gonna like check in around this, because I feel like it's now kind of a responsibility. And I know that we all, especially younger people, our go-to phrase is, we didn't create this, but let's be realistic. If we believe in rebirth and reincarnation and all of that and ancestry, then, we all did contribute to this in one way or another, whether it's through, observing and not saying anything, or being actively a part of it. And, whether you can say that was by choice or not is up to you, because colonization is a thing. And, these systems make it hard. These systems blur the lines between, what is consensual and what isn't, what is actively a choice and what is for survival. So that's complicated too. But we are getting back to this place where if we want to be in positions of power, then we're going to have to be in positions of power and accept the responsibility that comes with that. And the same critiques that we have for politicians and governments who don't take care of their people, that same critique can be wielded against human beings when it comes to the way that we're not taking care of other citizens of the earth, which we've chosen to govern over. Because building factories in the middle of a forest in your homes and calling this space this kind of country and saying you're a citizen of it and creating all of these laws that affect all these creatures, but these creatures don't get a say and you're not communicating with them. You're choosing to be the governing body over this land, over these creatures, over these forms of life. And we need to accept the responsibility for that. Every single one of us, I know I've heard all the excuses in the book around why people pollute, but I truly am like, pollution is one of those things that just really pisses me off, like littering, because it's just it just doesn't make sense to me at this point. And I understand, if you're poor and the neighborhoods don't have garbage bags or whatever, but it's like I've seen garbage cans within a few blocks of every place I've ever been in the city. So, and there's always space for more garbage in them. So it's just kind of like, I don't feel like there is an excuse for littering. But there are just little things, and I don't know. The responsibility is getting real. So I guess I just wanted to come on here for my own accountability. And also to just, I guess, begin this conversation as well on this channel. So we're going to start thinking about what it looks like to be a mother and what it looks like to be a governing body. How do we listen to what the planet needs? How do we listen to what other earth beings need and provide that? Do the best that we can to provide that, because we chose to take on this responsibility. So now we need to answer the call. So let me know if you're seeing a lot of bees. Bumblebees specifically, furry bees. Like, I haven't seen those in a while, and I've been seeing them a few times this week. Monarchs for the past few weeks, might even be months. I've been seeing them, and it's been amazing. It's been such a treat. And I think that that is the joy of what it looks like to have a healthy earth. Feeling how I feel when I see a monarch is a reminder of what we don't want to lose. It's a gift. Something of the past that was lost. For years I didn't see them, and I'd gotten used to it, and I didn't even realize what I had lost. And now that I'm seeing them again, I'm also in a phase of my life where I am experiencing whole new awakenings and remembering what it is to exist in the world from a place of joy. And I feel like the return of the monarch and the return of that feeling, it's not a coincidence that it's happening at the same time. But at the same time, what we're hearing on the news is that the monarchs are going extinct, right? And what we're hearing on the news is that there's anxiety around the world, and that there's wars, and that there's death and plagues and all of these things. But I'm seeing monarchs, and I'm having these awakenings, right? And so I feel like Earth is it's almost like sending the rush of the past back in to remind you of the beautiful things that have been gone for a while, but aren't like extinct yet, that aren't gone forever yet. They've just been kind of drifting, reminding you that they're still here so that you can fight for it, so that you can protect it, so that you can reclaim it, so that you can take care of it, so that you can remember why, what this is all about. It's about those feelings. It's about feeling. You need to feel. You need to be in your body. You need to be in your emotional body and your physical body so that you can understand what is happening around you, not in terms of what's happening between human beings, but what is happening to our earth, what is happening in our neighborhoods, what is happening in the environment, in the air that we're breathing, the food that we're eating, the water that we're drinking, the creatures that we're coming across, what's going on. But I feel like the monarchs are a really positive sign. I've been seeing so many, and I've seen them in dreams as well. So I do think that they're a reminder of what is not yet lost coming back in, and that is a sign of hope, because I know that hope is often taken from us in this day and age, So I am not one to say or one to push that. I really, really, really believe in a hopeful future, and a future that is really grounded in earth. And I think that that is not far-fetched. It's just a journey that we're going to need to go on all together. So yes, I think that that's all I'm going to say for now. And I'll just upload this, and then I'll come back and we'll continue to chat. So goodbye.